if somebody is getting into pageants, what would you say are the things that surprised you in a good way, and what were some of the things that surprised you I don't want you to be negative about it, but what things were surprisingly difficult that you may have thought would be more easy?
Well, the things that really surprised me is that just being actually introduced to pageants and, you know, learning all the basics, it's so much different than regular modeling and just kind of the basics you learned out of every day, because really pageants, there's a certain way you can walk and a certain way you can really present yourself, and I found that so interesting because, you know, there's such poise that comes out of that, and also just be able to be graceful in whatever you wear, and then also to give back to the community, which is where my love is for, you know, actually giving back to the charitable causes such as, you know, the organizations that I work with, which is military support at the moment. But some of the things that surprised me, and it's not really a negative thing, but everybody has their difficulties. Sometimes it can be financial. I mean, you don't have to go all out in spending everything, and I thought that was really great because a person that could buy maybe a cheaper dress could totally win the pageant because they present themselves in such a positive way. And I think that it's not a negative thing, but it's more kind of like positive reinforcement, because you may think that, well, I may not have a chance, but really it's just that if you're confident in yourself and you actually go out there and you're comfortable in your skin, then really anything's possible.
That is true, and I have to share with those that are tuning in, another place that they can find out about Maddie Rose is on your talk show on Voice America as well. She's a talk show host on the Kids channel, and maybe if you want to give a little bit of information on how they can find you there.
Sure. Well, like I mentioned previous, was the Voice America Kids, so you can just go to voiceamericakids.com. You can look for my show, which is called The Fame Game with Maddie Rose, and basically on my talk show I take people from the community, I talk about entertainment, and just things that are really, I guess, into my generation at the moment, but really focused on entertainment because I love, you know, all the different web shows and, you know, TV shows. There's so many different things included with fashion. So I would say that my show is more of a variety show because I really talk about everything, but I have a lot of fun doing it. So I'm really proud to have it.
Very good. I've listened to a couple episodes of the newer episodes of your show in preparation for this, and so if anybody who enjoys listening to what the new generation thinks and talks about and is interested in, I would definitely recommend tuning into her show. But you're also very personable on the show, and
Thank you.
I can tell that you make your guests feel very comfortable. In fact, I have a 13-year-old son who has a little business on the side, and he also feels that he's going to be the first person to truly generate the impossible, up to heretofore impossible perpetual motion machine.
Oh, that's great. I've heard about that, so I know where you're coming from. I watch those like science shows. That's like another thing. I'm so about academics and stuff, and one of those things is science, so I'm like, I know where you're coming from.
You'll be a well-informed interviewer with him. He's probably gone through at least 40 different designs.
Wow, that's interesting.
He came up with. In fact, when he was 6, he came to me with this idea of a perpetual motion machine, and I was very gentle because, you know, you have hopes and dreams of your children, and you know, as an engineer myself, I understand that perpetual motion is not something that has been created up to this point.
Yes.
And so I was very gentle about sharing with him that has been an impossibility up to this point. However, many things that were impossible have now become possible throughout the years.
Yes.
And so anyway, about 6 months later, and this is coming from a 6-year-old, he came to me and said, "Dad, there is a perpetual motion machine." And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "You told me it was impossible. It's not impossible. The universe is a perpetual motion machine."
I see. Loopholes.
And yeah, absolutely. These loopholes that nature creates things that we don't know how to create. But I thought that was rather interesting. But yeah, a very, very intelligent kid, and I'd love to have him on the show at some point.
Yeah, of course.
And then I have a 10-year-old son who is in the Phoenix Boys Choir and is quite the performer. So, and did you have to sing for your pageant? Or something?
Actually, my pageant, United States system, doesn't have a talent portion of it. I know a
Okay.
different variety of pageant systems do have talent, but I just recently performed at one of my charity events that is benefiting Family Promise and Family Promise Friends. It's for one of the newer delegates in the Mrs. Division.
Okay.
And it was a Christmas in July theme, so it was pretty cool, to perform and feel like Christmas was already here.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, definitely. That when my son was not in existence yet, my wife and I were at a place where the Phoenix Boys Choir performed, and my wife decided at that point that one of our children that didn't exist was going to be at the in the Phoenix Boys Choir. So I commend you for getting up there and singing, performing,
thank you.
and things of that nature. I want to present before we go to break. I want to present to you the gift from Planet Beach. This is a day at the spa. It's actually three free spa sessions for you to go to. There's 5 different locations. I'm not going to say on the air or ask you what end of town you live in, but just look at look at the different locations that they have, and then go to the closest one and get your 3 free sessions.
Aw, thank you. That's very sweet.
You're very welcome. So when we come back from the break, we are going to, I definitely want to talk to you because one of the concentrations of the social universe is giving back to the community and talking about charitable fundraising efforts. So for those of you who are listening in, we'll talk about that following the break with Maddie Rose.